Alright guys, welcome to the compound. Today we're going to work on one of our projects. I'll give you a quick tour around the shop and we'll get to work here. So this is the shop. It's 32 by 80. I share it with my dad. Give you a quick tour here and we'll get to work. So over here we got a tire machine, balancer, old equipment but works good, so that's all you really need. Got lots of toolboxes, a lot of stuff cluttered in here. We're making a lot of room. We just bought a 52-foot trailer to store some stuff in. So I got toolboxes over here, workbench. Back here, this is kind of my half of the shop. Got 2 lifts back here and one in the front. So back here is a lot more clutter. This is going to be our project here for today. This is my 68 AMC Javelin. It's got a Chevy LS motor in it. It's a 6-liter with a stroker kit. We built it here this winter. Haven't fired it up yet, so we're working on getting there. We're pretty close. So today we got to wire up these relays and some fuses, and that's gonna be the project for today. So we'll get to work. All right, so I came up with a game plan. We got 7 wires here that need to be run to this fuse block. I'm gonna run them up under here and straight down here. So I got to get some wire and crimp on some terminals and shrink wrap to there. So we're going to do that next, and I'll show you. So I'm currently making these wires longer to make it all the way to my fuse block, going up and around, making it trying to make it look nice. So these are kind of the steps that I use to put connectors on wires or spade terminals and stuff. So these are kind of like cheap spade plastic terminals. The first thing I do is I use a pair of pliers and pull off the plastic, because it just cracks and it doesn't protect the wires from moisture, corrosion, or anything. So once you take them off, you get something like this, and then you just strip the wire. You don't want to strip a lot off, kind of just a little bit more than the length that the terminal has to slide on there. So just like that. Then you want to crimp it. And then this is a shrink tube. I use this size here. I'm not sure what size it is. But it covers the whole spade bit, and it shrinks small enough to match the size of the wire. So this is kind of the finished product. It's going to keep moisture out. This shrink tube has the glue inside it, so when you heat it up, glue actually comes from the inside and actually adheres to the wire. And it makes for a better connection, better seal, gonna keep moisture out. So, all right, I'll show you the next step. All right, I wanted to give you guys a quick demonstration of how I connect the wires with solder and shrink tube. So I'm just gonna show you guys real quick how I do it. So I got 2 pieces of wire, gotta put together. Want to strip both ends. Alright, so this is how I do it. I mean, there's many different ways to do it. So I twist them together on one side and then the other. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then I got a piece of shrink tube, just using a little extra piece here because I don't want to waste a big piece just to show you. So then you're going to want to make sure your shrink tube's going to fit correctly. I would usually go a little bit longer, probably to about there. So let's get you a little closer here. I would usually go a little bit longer, maybe that long. So pull that back off, and if you can't get to an end, you want to make sure you leave that on there, because once you connect it, there's no way to get it on. So I have this stuff here. I have no clue what it's called. It's some sort of like soldering paste. So it's actually like solder mixed with flux. So I just put some on the on our junction here. This stuff works like really well, so I've never had a problem with it. So, and then I use a heat gun like this, and all you gotta do is heat the bottom side. And be careful not to put your fingers too close to the junction there, because it does get hot. So it does take a minute to get it hot enough. Bigger wire takes longer, smaller wire will go faster. So it's starting to melt. Alright, so it's all melted there. As you can see, it's shiny, soldered. So, and you're going to want to give it a pull check just to make sure it's soldered good. Then you just slide your shrink tube onto the wire over the connection, like so. And then you can use a lighter or anything that is hot. I have a heat gun here, just a Harbor Freight Drillmaster heat gun. It works great. You just turn it on and turn it on, and it shrinks down, and now it's tight to the wire. And you can see, hopefully you can see, but there's glue coming out of the sides, so that's how you know it's on there good, and you're good to go. Super strong. This solder stuff, I've never seen anything like it. I don't even know where to buy it. I actually got it from a friend of mine, so hopefully I don't run out. I have like another half jar of it, so. But that's how you solder together wires. So let me show you what I got over here. I soldered all, was there 7 wires here? So I lengthened all the wires. Now we have both sides of our fuse panel done. I put them in this loom here, all the way down to here. Right now it's still pretty messy. Next I'm gonna wire up these relays. I got 3 relays here. This one's for the fuel pump. That's what FP for fuel pump. This one's actually for the fan. This was an oil pressure relay before, that's why there's an O on it, but I swapped it out with the fan because the fan relay went bad. And then this one's just a horn relay. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I have to go double check a schematic, but I'm pretty sure that this green and white wire here is the fuel pump control from the module. So there we go. I'll let you know how I make out. Alright, so after way too long, I now have all my relays wired up, connected to where they need to be. My fuse block is done. I started cleaning up wires in the looms. I got a bunch more to do. As you can see, it's a mess. Also over here, I installed a fuse block. Installed a fuse block here. Got to finish that up. Get some fuses. Ran 2 new wires along the cowl and over to the relays for the fuel pump and the fan. Originally, when I had this put together, I had the fan and the relays on the same fuse, on the same wire. And when my fan would kick on, it's pulse width modulated, so it pulses, and you could actually hear the fuel pump pulsing because it didn't have enough power to supply both. So I had to run 2 separate wires and their own fuses, which is the way it should have been done in the first place. So now we're good to go. So I'm just going to clean up some of these wires, and that's probably about all I'm going to be able to do today. So I'll come back when there's some more wires cleaned up, and hopefully it looks pretty decent, but we'll see. Alright guys, so I've been working on this wiring project for a little bit, and I think it's coming to an end for today. Got a little bit more work to do, but I figure I'll show you what I got done now, and we'll move on another time. So this is what I got done. Got all these relays wired up, and it looks pretty good, I think. Still needs a little bit more work. I forgot to put this wire up through the harness, so that one will have to weasel its way in there. And I have to, these black wires on the back here, I gotta make those look nicer, but I think we're gonna clean up for the day. Got quite the mess underneath the car, and sweep up and call it a day. But I figured before I do that, I could tell you a little bit more about this car, and maybe show you a little more. So this is my 1968 Javelin. As I said earlier, it's got a 6-liter with a stroker kit. I built it this winter. Haven't started it yet, so we're gonna schedule a day to get it dyno tuned, and move from there. Underneath of it, I'll show you. Let me lift this up, and then I'll show you the underside of it and show you a little bit more. Alright guys, so we're underneath the car here, and I want to show you a couple of things. Let me grab the light. So when I got this car, it had 4-wheel drum brakes, and those were absolutely horrible. I think they were like factory, never been replaced drums and everything like that. So one of the major things I did to this was upgraded the front suspension and brakes. This is an IFS system from Control Freak. Willwood disc brakes, dual adjustable coilovers. One of the best things I've done to the vehicle. It drives like a whole new animal, and stops, which is a very important step. So as you can see, the block is nice and shiny still, freshly painted. I plan on putting a different oil pan on it. It hangs a little bit low compared to the rest of the car. It is the lowest hanging thing. This is the GM muscle car oil pan. So So moving on, I got this very custom exhaust. It just has one bend in it. One bend, and then all the way in the back, muffler, right before the axle just dumps. I got this thick piece of steel as a cross member I made with some couple shims. I'd like to, that is a really heavy piece. I'd like to make it weigh a little bit less. So one of the next things we're going to be installing is some subframe connectors. I already started grinding this down to weld on there. But I'm going to put it on a 4-post lift. That way there's no bending in the frame or anything like that. So back here, we got Caltrac traction bars. We're waiting on some one-piece axles from Mosier. They should be here next week, and we'll install those. And that's pretty much what I've been waiting on for a while. Got 3-way adjustable competition engineering shocks. Some people said good things about them, so we're gonna try them out. They were on the cheaper side, so I figured that was a good start. Once we get the axles in, we're gonna weld the axle tubes, and so that's about it for the underneath. I do want to get a tank, a brand new tank, and turn it into some sort of fuel cell. Because right now I just have this inline pump here, and it works fine. I don't really have any problems with it yet, but it's really loud, and I definitely like to change that. I use the Corvette fuel filter / pressure regulator, and so that's one of the next things I like to upgrade. But until then, just gonna keep working on it and see where it takes us. So that's about it for now. I'll definitely be making more videos, so feel free to like or comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys got any questions, and I'll answer them. So thanks for watching, guys.